Hi, Kerry here. We're approaching the end of the year, and it's always been my practice as a businessman to evaluate my business in the month of December and then make a plan for what I'm going to do the following year. I have two businesses, basically. One is my investment business, and the other is my media business. I've decided it's not a YouTube business, it's a media business, and I need to approach it that way. But as far as my portfolio is concerned, I got to thinking I need to look at it from the perspective of why do I own what I own and in stocks. And I think I came to the conclusion that what I own, why I own what I own, is for its future value. It's not based on what its current value is. No, that's not what investing is. That might be what trading is. But even in trading, you're buying something for its future value. So what I did was create a spreadsheet and analyze each segment of my investment portfolio and try to come to a conclusion as to why do I own this and should I own it? And so I want to share that spreadsheet with you. I'm still working on it, but I think it's a valuable thing that maybe you should look at, particularly as we're involved in this volatile market at the year end, where we have our hedge funds and our mutual funds and our ETFs trying to make their year-end numbers and throwing the market up and down on a daily basis just so they can trade and book some profits and book some losses and you know, that whole thing. So what I want to do is show you what I've done. First, I'm going to explain how I did it. And then I want to go to my computer and show you the spreadsheet I created and see if you don't think that maybe you can get some value out of this. So this is not financial advice. This is just an insight as to what I'm doing and how I share it with my tribe, and where you can get some access to kind of analyzing a little further is, why do I own what I own? All right, I'll be right back after I get rid of this disclosure.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Griegmeyer.
What I did was basically break my portfolio down into segments, and they are what I call the big six. This is safe money. This is money in Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and NVIDIA. These are the stocks that I'm just confident they're going to grow at a level that I'll be very happy with. Then I have what I call the health cure revolution, and I have a number of stocks there that I'll show you. Then I have the supply chain, and I'm basically in some 3D printing stocks. Then I have the metaverse, and then I have EV vehicles, and then I have cybersecurity and fintech. And then I have one little stock that has no real relevance to why I own it, but we'll get into that. So what I then did was basically go through and say, what is their current market cap? What is their current price? How many shares do I own of each of these stocks? And then what I wanted to do was project what I felt their value would be, not next year, but in 2030. And what I did in order to gain some insight as to what kind of growth they might have in, what would that be, the next 9 years, is I went back and looked at my big six and basically said, what kind of growth did they achieve over the last 8 years? And if in fact the medical revolution and the 3D printing supply chain revolution and the metaverse and the EV and cybersecurity and fintech, how are they going to grow relative to what the big six did? So with that in mind, and what I found was the big six, if you average them out, came up with a growth factor over the last 9 years of roughly a 30x. Okay. And so for that category, I said, okay, it's just going to repeat itself. Now, why would I believe that Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Facebook, and NVIDIA would be able to equal their growth of the past decade? Well, I believe that each one of them are going to be involved very actively in each of those subsequent areas where I think there's going to be, in some cases, even greater growth. Okay, so that's what I've built. And again, I suggest you do this, particularly if you're a long-term investor, is evaluate why you own what you own and what you realistically think it's going to grow to. And what you're going to find is you're going to say, well, here I've got one I think is going to grow, 100x, and then I have others that are going to grow 10x. Should I own them? Should I own the 10x's, or should I throw all my money towards the 100? Well, what if the 100x doesn't materialize? So that's what I want to walk you through. And I'm going to go over to my computer and show it to you and kind of just walk you through the reasoning that I came up with. Okay, this is the spreadsheet I was referring to. It's on my Excel. And as I said, I'm going to ask Kevin to make this interactive and update its prices. But here's what I've done. It's my projection of what my portfolio is going to be worth in 2030. And as I said, this is the big six. I've put the market caps in them. I've put the current price. And again, this is not accurate as of when you're seeing this. And then I've put the number of shares I've owned. What makes this real easy is if I buy something new, I just need to add it into this number and it translates it. As I said, I want Kevin to help me make this such that the price updates as well. So this is the current value, and my portfolio right now is a bit almost 1.2 million. So you can see this is right at 50%. Then what I've done is said, okay, based on past history, the past decade, these stocks grew at a rate of 12x, okay? And so I'm just basically saying, in fact, they're going to do the same thing over the next decade or 9 years. So I'm saying my $549,000 will grow to $6.5 million. I'm okay with that, all right? I don't expect anything more of it. Now, as you can see, I expect substantially more out of the healthcare revolution. And how this number comes out at 103.2 was what I did was go back to not just the past 10 years of the digital revolution of the big six, but actually went back and looked at what, in fact, it grew over the past 20 years. And that is a factor of 1.03, because I, like Walter Isaacson, actually believe that this is bigger than the digital revolution. I just think that Google search and things of that nature and e-commerce and Facebook are not as important as taking disease out of our lives. So I believe they will achieve the 103.2x that the digital revolution created or achieved in 20 years. I think they're going to do it in 9. So I then do the same math of these. This is their current price. These are the shares I own. And I segmented it into genome therapy, genome sequencing, genome data, protein sequencing. So you get an idea of how they all kind of interrelate and how they are different at the same time. So I'm projecting that my portfolio of 259,000 is going to grow to 26 million. I'm okay with that as well. I do the same thing for 3D printing. I don't think it's going to achieve the same kind of growth that the healthcare revolution, but I put a factor of 30 on that. Then I go to the metaverse here. What I also recognize is my big six are going to be some major players in the metaverse. But I think these companies are going to outpace the big six because they are the infrastructure and they're the small companies that are going to grow exponentially as a result of their involvement in the metaverse. And you can see the stocks that I have chosen in that group. I don't own any electric vehicle companies. I am of the opinion that car companies don't make money. That they basically are. It's a price competitive industry, and you're starting to see that now as the customary, the past. The ICE vehicles are coming out with their models in the electric vehicle place and our space, and I think they're going to just beat each other up until they become just like the ICE vehicles. They don't really make a lot of profit. So I think my choice is to be involved in the minerals that are going to, or the elements that are going to be needed for making the batteries, and that's lithium. And then MP is mountain pass rare earth elements. And so I've put those into the EV space. Then I want some exposure on cybersecurity. And so I've shown you there what I own, number of shares, and what the current portfolio, and both for the EV and the cyber, I've put a factor of a 10x on them. And then I've done the same thing with my one holding in fintech, and that's Square. Currently have about 30 or 23,000 in it. I think I see a mistake here. That needs to be changed to 23,000, but I'll do that. But I see that growing to from the 23 to 232,000 over the next 10 years. So that's the growth factor. And then this is Netlist. Netlist is a company that I and many of my tribe members own. It's involved in a lawsuit with Google. And I'm basically saying I think probably by this time next year, if not before, I will get a 4x out of it. So I just put that in there with that short-term anticipation on it. So you can see my 1.1 million. I do have some cash as well. I project by 2030 will be somewhere in the neighborhood of $39 million. And I'm okay with that. So the other thing I want to emphasize is that you can see I'm very focused. I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas of the stock market that I invest in. What I then do is basically study them as extensively as I can. Right now, I'm reading on artificial intelligence. I am just so excited about how artificial intelligence is really going to affect every one of these categories and help me achieve the growth factors that I'm looking at. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Again, if you want access to this so that you can copy it and then build your own, you'll be able to get that through Best of Us Investors, and where you can get access to our Discord, where I'm going to have Kevin put it up for you. So let's talk a little bit more about that element of it. Okay, I hope that enlightened you some, gave you some ideas. What I want to do with this is, one thing I'd like to do is have it update itself, and that is to say that the item that changes on this chart is the price. I know that Kevin, who I work with, he's part of our tribe. He knows how to create this spreadsheet such that that price changes on I think it's about a 5-minute basis. And so what I'm going to ask him to do is I'm going to have him, I think it's part of Google Sheets. I'm going to have him put this on our Discord. And it'll be flagged there, so you'll be able to take a look at it. And our Discord, if you want to gain access to this, just go to bestofusinvestors.com and enter your name and your email address, and I'll send you an invitation to the Discord, and then you can kind of follow along. And what I hope you could do then is you can make a copy of it and create your own, because I would really love people to get past the day-to-day activity of what's my portfolio worth today, because that's really not what we're investing it for, because we're not at the close of business, at least most of us aren't, going to liquidate everything, okay? We're going to hold it for a period of time, and at that period of time, we'll do with whatever with it. With mine, I'm going to die, Nita's going to die, and we're going to pass it on to our heirs. So it's there for me to project what its potential is, and then I can alter that projection on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, or an annual basis, and then make good adjustments. This is how Jeff Bezos and Tim Cook run their businesses. So why shouldn't we run our businesses that way? Okay? Hope this is helpful to you. Any way I can help you, if you're a tribe member, let me know. I hope you picked up on tips from an appraiser, John Copulus's YouTube channel. Help him grow it, and come join our group, and let's grow together. Talk to you again tomorrow.